Hello world, it is Wednesday, January 26, 2022, and looking out the window at Defiance, it's blue skies, a little bit of puffy clouds out there, but really cold. It was 0 degrees this morning when I let the dogs out, so if you go out today, be careful, dress appropriately, keep your skin covered, and if you have issues with your lungs, make sure your face is covered. The devotion for today is entitled Restless by Chris Marichuk. Chris bases the devotion upon Luke chapter 4, verse 38b through 39, Common English Bible. Simon's mother-in-law was sick with a high fever, and the family asked Jesus to help her. He bent over her and spoke harshly to the fever, and it left. She got up at once and served them. And Chris writes, "If you and your buddies come to my house and I'm lying in bed so sick that I require a divine intervention, don't expect me to make you some snacks as soon as I feel better. Just let me rest. I need time to recover." The unnamed mother of Simon's wife was given no such respect or respite after her healing, but got up at once and served Jesus and the crew. Maybe she did this to show gratitude or to demonstrate full recovery. Or maybe she was obligated, pressed into service by a first-century grind culture that was just as toxic and misogynistic then as it is today. In a culture that equates one's productivity with one's worthiness, rest and recovery are sometimes seen as weakness and laziness, punishable by loss of income or reputation. We are permitted brief rest so we can be useful or used again. The net industry founder, Tricia Hersey, teaches that rest for its own sake is an act of resistance. It is also a means of reclaiming yourself and reconnecting with yourself, others, and the divine. Rest reminds us of our worthiness, unconnected to our usefulness. So please take a rest. Not so that you can get back to the grind, not because you've earned it, but because you are always worthy of it. And the prayer. Let myself rest, divine healer, not so I can be useful again, but because I am worthy of it. Amen. Well, for me, this devotion brings up some truths, and that is that in our Western U.S. culture, oftentimes our worth is defined by what we can produce. And if we can't produce, or can't produce very much, or produce something that society looks down upon, then we're not worth very much. I think that's why so many jobs have been justified as low-paying, unskilled labor. But every job requires some sort of skill and ability, and everyone is worthy of having something to do to help them live a sustainable and viable life. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of kickback against that with people really kind of demanding more to come back to certain jobs. But our worth is not determined by what we produce. Somehow we have to get over that here in the West, especially in the U.S. And I also think it's important to know what rest is for. It's not so that we can be useful again and get back to work, but just to be centered. The Bible is filled with stories of Jesus resting, and he wasn't doing it to be able to go out and do more, but to be centered on God and centered within himself. It was something that he needed for himself. And so rest is important for us as well. Well, I hope this gives you some food for thought, and I hope you know that you are worthy of rest, and I hope you don't feel bound up in, or have your worth bound up in what society says you can produce, because you are a gift to creation and a child of God. Hope to talk to you again tomorrow.